two powerhouse teams in their respective regions, becoming even stronger after last year. Seoul opted to go for strong, veteran talent who can bring them success sooner rather than later, while Los Angeles have taken younger players to develop over time. Who will come out on top? I'll go over that today. We'll start with the DPS. The Gladiators have kept Givster while picking up Patipin from Valorant and Uns from the San Francisco Shock. Meanwhile, Seoul have kept their phenomenal duo Profit and Fitz while picking up Stalker from General G Sports. I'm just saying this now, Seoul have potentially the best DPS line in the league. Profit and Fitz were already basically carrying the Dynasty all season despite not having great tanks or supports. And now they've added Stalker, one of the best rookie prospects, who ironically also has a history of carrying a pretty made team. Across these three, they cover pretty much every hero. Profit and Stalker are insanely flexible, and Fitz can play nearly every hit scan at a high level. I do really like the Glad's DPS lineup. Givster is obviously an insane flex and is absolutely on Profit's level, and at his peak was the best hit scan in the world, and Patipin has insane potential. However, honestly, Fitz is straight up better than Uns from what we've seen recently, and Patipin is still unproven after being away from the game for 2 years, while Stalker has been pounding in contenders for years on end. Profit is also still a tad bit better than Givster on almost everything, I'd say. I have to give this one to Seoul. Next, the tanks. The Gladiators have kept space and have replaced Muzz with Reiner from American Tornado, while Seoul is currently rocking with Smurf as their sole tank, no pun intended. Now, I don't want to risk downplaying Reiner. He is very good, and considering his flexibility, I expect he will be one of the most valuable players in Overwatch 2 with his ability to play almost anything at a high level. However, Smurf is a legendary tank, having one of the best Winstons and Orizas in the world, and having a solid ball and Reinhardt to back it up. I know he didn't play much last year, but that was more due to mental health reasons rather than skill reasons. Whenever he did play, he was cracked. I think he is clearly better than Reiner. However, I'm still giving this to Gladiators. While Reiner may not measure up, having two tanks gives them a clear advantage as they have both skill sets needed to master any new tank, as well as allowing for more flexibility. If Seoul don't pick up another tank, they'll struggle if Sadva or Sigma become meta, while Space is one of the best off tanks in the world, and can carry the Gladiators through. I like Smurf, but he just can't keep up his hero pool so thin. I give this one to the Glads. Next, the supports. This is a pretty close one. The Gladiators have held on to their elite backline in Skewdamshu, and have picked up Funyastro from the Philadelphia Fusion. Meanwhile, Seoul have kept creative from last year, while picking up legendary flex support Jonake and the promising rookie main support Vindame. Both of these are very good. Vindame and Creative have a lot of promise, and Jonake still popped off last year despite his team being poor. However, I don't think they can measure up to the Gladiators. The Gladiator backline is potentially the best in the game. Shu has become a top 3 flex support as of late, even seeming like potentially number 1 during specific spans of time like the Countdown Cup. He has been insane for 3 seasons. And while Jonake has been extremely good for 4 years, I don't think he's been able to play at his peak for a while, though in a better situation he could grow. Skewed craps all over Creative. He is the best brig in the world and is nutty at most flex DPS as well, while Creative honestly looked only a bit above average. He's good, but not world-class like Shu or Skewed or Jonake. Then finally, I like Vindame, I really do. I think he is right behind Chorong and Chio as the best of his rookie class on main support. Holding his own with them and even sharing playing time with him, his Brig and Lucio are elite, and he absolutely has the potential to look like a top 5 main support next year. But Funyastro is simply more proven. He was right next to one of the greatest support in the world in Alarm and never looked worse than him. He was always a top 5 main support. I'm going to give this one to the Gladiators. Finally, the coaching. Seoul made some questionable moves, whereas Glads made some huge ones. For the Glads, Faces replaced Bay as head coach, and picked up Hunter from the Atlanta Reign and Smash from O2 Blast as assistant coaches, while Seoul have made Toby from the Philadelphia Fusion their head coach, while keeping assistant coach Ma, and re-signing Wizard Haeyoung as their head of strategy and keeping Buong Wari as an analyst. I'm fairly disappointed in Seoul's coaching staff. They re-signed many coaches that were part of their disappointing 2021 and 2020 seasons, and while I am not as critical of head coach Toby anymore, as I think he could potentially help with learning new heroes and a lot with in-game strategy, he is still very unproven, and immediately promoting him to head coach could beat them. Meanwhile, the Gladiators have made Face, a man with a ton of trust from Bay and years in the coaching structure at the Glads head coach, and promoted Hunter, the goated coach who helped make Atlanta a championship-level team, and smash the guy who Avel says is the main brain behind O2 Blast. There's not really a question. Gladiators by quite a bit. My final verdict is that the Gladiators are a bit better than Seoul. While Seoul's DPS honestly might be enough to carry them to a win, I feel uncertain about Smurf as the only tank. And I feel like the Gladiators' supports and coaching are clearly ahead of their competition. Seoul is still likely top 2 or 3 in a pack, but the Glads have this one over them. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more. I upload daily Overwatch League content and am trying to hit 100 subs by Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.